A number of people made comments about it looking a bit like the Cat in the Hat and things like that. Hello guys, welcome back to Phil's Corner. And returning visitors will immediately recognise that we're not in Phil's Corner. The corner is not here in today's episode because it is under construction. And some of you will know already, but I'll show a picture now of what Phil's Corner currently looks like. It's currently being renovated. It's probably going to take months rather than weeks, so I thought it's going to take a while. But I still wanted to do some videos, and in particular I wanted to do today's video because we're looking at my wish list, my personal wish list for shirts in 2021-22. It's that time of year, the new season's just about to begin, so I didn't want to waste any time. I wanted to get this video out to you guys, and hopefully you like it, hopefully you get some ideas for what to buy this season or what to look out for. But before we get there, I just want to talk about a couple of things. Firstly, an announcement which I've already put on Twitter just at the time of recording, but I've actually got a huge announcement to say that I'm going to be working with Hummel on a new football shirt show, and just saying those words out loud just makes me feel all sorts of feelings, mostly just disbelief really that this is happening. Hummel, of course, I've said so many times on this channel, are my favourite brand in shirts. So to be working with them on a new show, a brand new show that's coming directly from them, I'm going to fly to Denmark and host this new show. We're going to have guests. We're going to have, of course, tons of Hummel shirts and giveaways and all sorts of things. So that is something I'm really, really excited about, and I couldn't have done it without your support. Having this channel and this small but very engaged audience that I've been able to just enjoy and work with, you guys who have supported me, that really has led to this role at Hummel. So thank you so much if you have watched even just one video before, and there's so much more to come. I'll still be, of course, running Phil's Corner, so that's still going to be continuing. But you guys will have another channel to check out. So look forward to that, guys. Look forward to a new show directly from Hummel, which I'll be hosting. And we actually need a name for the show as well. So if you go to the link in the description, I'll link you to the poll that's on Twitter. And you can also comment with your own suggestions for a show name. We need a name, and we're going to ask the community for help. So you can be involved by naming the show as well. But yeah, it's pretty exciting, guys. I'm going to be... But yeah, as I say, I'll be flying over very soon to Denmark and filming over at Hummel HQ. So lots to look forward to. And a couple of usual thank yous. Firstly, to all my supporters on Patreon. And again, as I've said before, those guys have been generously supporting me now, some of them for a number of months. And if you want to know what I'm doing on Patreon, there's a link in the description. Essentially, there's a small community on there where we're regularly chatting. When I sell shirts from my collection, I sell them first to my patrons, so they get first dibs on anything I sell. You also get a free shirt just by being a supporter. And there's a few other benefits too, including some exclusive tutorial videos and stuff like that. So check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me further. And thank you to the guys whose names are at the bottom of the screen. And thank you to Foot Fanatics. And Foot Fanatics are a site we're going to mention a couple of times in today's video. Thank you to them for supporting this channel and supporting the growth of Phil's Corner. But guys, let's get to it. And you're probably wondering, what is this image on the screen? Some of you might know what it is. But before I give you my wish list, and I've got a top 10 shirts for this season which I'm looking out to buy, I'm actually going to tell you the shirts I've already picked up, and there's a few shirts that I've already bought. Some of them I've actually been sent as well by clubs and things like that. But I'm going to show you the shirts that I've already got in my collection that have been released this season. And this one is a really special one. I don't know if I've shared this on YouTube yet. I don't think I have. This is the SK brand blackout shirt, but it's a really special blackout shirt because, as you can see, the applications are this wonderful iridescent style where the lights and those flickers of different colors change as the light moves across the surface of those applications. So you can see there you've got the SK brand crest, the Nike swoosh, and all the sponsors as well. Probably the best thing about it is also the vaping it. And this is actually the vaping it, which is predominantly last season style, if you like. Certainly the new clubs will be getting the new dry fit ADV player specification. But I particularly like this fingerprint style vaping it, which again, some clubs are using this season, including SK Brand. I believe they only wore it in one game. I might have to double check that. But nonetheless, that's one of my favourites that I picked up. I actually got that from Norway thanks to a friend in Norway who was able to get that over to me, because I believe the club were only shipping to Norwegian addresses. But I was able to connect with a fellow collector and get this sent over. What a beautiful shirt. Certainly one of my favourites in my collection from modern times. And yeah, very happy to get that one. If we move on, oh yeah, there's a nice shot of the crest. So look at that, look at the details, guys. I absolutely love shirts like this, where you have special applications. I think that really does take it to the next level. Moving on, and I'm going to mention Fit Fanatics here because you may have seen the Umbro Retro range. And Umbro released retro shirts for all their Brazilian clubs. These are a couple of them which Fit Fanatics sent to me. I gave away the Santos one on Twitter. The Fluminense one here is one that I'm keeping. Gorgeous shirts. The feel of them is so nice. You've got great details. They're of course very retro. And you can get all the Umbro retro shirts at Fit Fanatics. If you are on Fit Fanatics, use the code FILSCORNER. That gives you 8% off. And I'd really recommend these shirts, guys. You've got different ones, as I say. You've got Fluminense, Santos, Gremio. There's some really nice ones. Sport Recife had a really good one with a lovely crest. Check out the range of Fit Fanatics. And I'd recommend any of them. But the Fluminense one is one of my favourites. That's the one I'm going to keep for my own collection. And talking of Brazilian shirts, I also picked up the Sao Paulo away shirt, and I really like this one. Quite a traditional design for them. I was really keen to get the patches as well, so you can see the Copa Libertadores patch. I believe there's a winner's patch there and the main patch. And I decided to get a name set, and I went all out with quite a funny numbers on Marquinhos, who I believe only made his debut this season. He's an 18-year-old, and if I've got my facts straight, he was the youngest ever scorer for the club in the Libertadores. So I thought I'd get a bit of an unusual one, but this is actually a bit of a highlight as well to say that Fit Fanatics offer printing like this. And you can do custom printing with name or number. And just look at the numbers there, guys. You've got the pairs details on the top of the numbers, which is great. 47, a really unusual number. That's a very Brazilian thing, isn't it? A big number. But this kind of shirt wouldn't be available anywhere else. But you can get it at Fit Fanatics for a great price. And yeah, really happy to get those Brazilian shirts. And no doubt I'll be adding more Brazilian shirts throughout the season. I'll mention the Japan shirt. Of course, that was a bit of a one-off shirt again as well. But I've included it because technically it was released in the kind of calendar of 2021-22. And I've done a video, of course, on this shirt as well. So I'll link to that video now above me. Well, not above me because I'm not on the screen, but at the top of the screen. And you already know a lot about this shirt, but I'm really happy with it. It's still in the box, actually. And I'm looking forward to getting that back on the shelf when Phil's Corner is back and operational. And actually, a quick shout out for the PSG shorts. This is quite a funny one, of course, because really shorts weren't a part of my collection at all until this season. And now with Messi almost certainly going to PSG, at least that's the latest news, a shock departure from Barcelona. But these shorts are going to be highly sought after. So I'm very happy to have these, and I'm very thankful to Kitbag who sent these over for me to have. And these are the player issue ones. Are these shorts actually worth it? Well, I've done a video on this as well, and I'll link again to that above on the screen. Lovely shorts in the new Dry for AGV player spec. And of course, if Messi goes there, again, these are going to be really, really nice to have in the long term. And next up we have Valencia, and this was a gift from Valencia themselves. So huge thank you to Valencia. For the second year in a row, they sent me a shirt, which has already made my year in many ways. I'm so thankful to them. Valencia are my favourite Spanish club. I loved them growing up, and this shirt is really nice. Quite an interesting talking point with the sponsor. Of course, that sponsor, which we will mention later on when we talk about Inter. Now, aesthetically, it's not a very nice sponsor, but it's certainly a memorable one for this season. But the shirt itself is lovely. There's a really nice pattern running through, as you can see. That deep red colour is really nice to look at, but really happy to get this one from Valencia. And as we finish this section with shirts which I already have in my collection, there's a few which are on their way, a few which I've bought or have been sent, and are currently in transit. So firstly, the Parma goalkeeper shirt. And Parma, again, like Valencia, have sent me this goalkeeper shirt, which I'm very excited to look at in person. I believe the version I'll be getting does have the central sponsor and sleeve patch as well for the league, for Serie B. I think it even has Buffon's name to it as well. So it will look a bit different to this picture here. But Parma, of course, did a selection of throwback kits, the yellow and blue and red and blue designs from the late 90s, reinterpreted for this season. Very excited to look at this in person. Thank you to Parma and indeed Araya for sending that to me. And I'll be sharing lots of pictures when I get that. But that's on its way. And actually, as well as the Parma shirt, guys, I'll just show you these pictures. We've got FC Norgeland, and I think that's how you say it, Norgeland. Please, if there's anyone who can correct me, do. But this shirt as well is due this week, and I'm very excited. Look at the details, guys. I talked about details before with the brand shirt, the crest there, the Nike swoosh even, and even the sponsor, the DHL sponsor, which integrates completely with the design of the shirt. This is going to be an absolute beauty. And guys, a bit of a sneak preview as well. By the time this video goes live, it might actually be available already, but this shirt will be available to buy in the UK. It's previously not been available. It's been quite hard to get these directly from the club. That's all I'll say at this stage. But by the time this video goes live, if they are available from where I think they will be, I will share the link. And if they're not, look out for that on my Twitter. But I'm very, very much looking forward to this one. Look at this. I mean, these are close-ups here, of course. I believe the pattern, the subliminal pattern, is a stock Nike pattern. I might have to check that. But nonetheless, I love the overall aesthetic of this one. Not least because of the crest and sponsor. So yeah, that's also on its way. And finally, like many other people, I picked up the Venezia shirt, the Venezia home shirt in my case. Now this shirt was very popular, but it is also not universally loved. It's fair to say that the design is completely over the top in terms of its lavish kind of embellishments. You've got all the gold Kappa logos, the gold crest, indeed the gold sponsor. There's something which is quite indulgent about the shirt, and I think that to me is fascinating. I think it makes sense for Venice, but it's not to everyone's taste. I love it. I really think it's a bold direction. It's certainly a very modern football shirt, a football shirt which is designed to appeal to collectors. I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm hoping I was one of the first 500 people to buy this, because apparently there was a free magazine as well that you got with that. So if that comes, we'll try and show it off on Phil's Corner, I'm sure, in a future episode. That is due to ship out, I think, next week at the time of recording. But there you go. There's a few more shirts that are on their way alongside the ones I shared before. So that's the shirts I've already got. Now let's talk about the shirts I want to have. This is what the meat of the episode is, really. What are the shirts on my wish list? And I've got a top 10. I'm going to go in reverse order. Quite simply, I'm just going to show you the shirts, talk about what I like about them, and maybe talk about how I think I'll be able to get hold of them. Some of them have already been out. Some of them have been out for quite a few months. Others are actually leaks, and there may be changes to the leaked photos that I'm going to show. But yeah, guys, I've got 10 shirts here from a range of brands. Quite a few of them I think regular viewers will be able to guess. Certainly some of the teams that are going to appear are ones that I've done videos on before and things like that. Others are maybe a bit more left field, but I'm really excited to just pick up a few of these shirts. I don't think I'll get all of them. I never get all of the shirts on my wish list, but if I can get half of these, I'll be very happy. And yeah, let's just go straight to it. I'm going to show you now, firstly, number 10. Number 10 is the Seattle Sounders away shirt, and I loved this design. This design inspired by Jimi Hendrix, and the colours here are what really make this shirt for me. Those cuffs, those orange and yellow cuffs, contrasting with the purple base, are absolutely astounding. I love that. And indeed, the kind of yellow, almost Volt yellow Adidas logo and crest. And if we go to another close-up here, you can see some of those details more. Look at that patch on the sleeves. One thing about the MLS shirts this year, which has been the case in previous years, is that in many ways you really have to pick up the player issue versions, the authentic versions, to get all these nice details. And MLS shirts are one of the worst in terms of differences. If you get the replica, you're missing out on things like the cuffs and even things like the stars above the crest. So This one is quite expensive, and the reason I don't have this, or one of the reasons I don't have this, is because it was so expensive to get from the US. I'm hoping there'll still be some available. I don't know, they probably have sold out, to be honest. But it is on my wish list at number 10. If I do find this, if this does make its way to eBay or something like that as an authentic version, again, it's going to be hard to find, but I'd love to own it. Who knows, maybe it will stick around. And the thing is with the MLS, it will be used next season, I believe. Most MLS shirts do last 2 seasons. So I think in many ways I'm hoping to get it next season if there is a restock or things like that. But it is on my list. Looking at it again, I just realize how much I like it. Again, the colourway is so unique. The patches here look amazing. Yep, I'd love to own this one. It'll be quite tricky to own, but who knows? That'll be great to add to my collection. In at number 9 is the Red Bull Leipzig away shirt, and again, love the colours on this one. This to me is the best RB Leipzig shirt we've seen so far. They've had some good shirts, but I really like the way that they've played with the colours of indeed the Red Bull brand. Love the look of the dry fit ADV. Nike player issue material here, but even in the replica, and we've got a shot of the replica here, I think it still looks good. And to be honest, this is one of those shirts which I don't think I'd need to get the authentic for. I think I would be happy with the replica. And I'd be happy to save a bit of money as well, because of course it is a bit cheaper. But really like this one. I'm a bit of a Nike fanboy. I've said it before many times. I like this design. It's one of my favourites, as I say, of this year. It's on my top 10 wish list. I believe it's already on sale now, and I've seen a few people picking it up. I'm hoping to get this one later in the year. I'm hoping to buy my time and get it late in the season. That's in at number 9 for me. Now, I said there'd be a few left field choices, and number 8 is something a bit left field. It's a shirt for Sweden, but not Sweden shirts from Adidas, but they're Olympic shirts from Uniqlo. And a bit of a backstory, I really like Uniqlo as a shop, just for clothes, and a lot of my clothes that I just wear day to day are from Uniqlo. One of my favourite places to get clothes. Not that I regularly buy clothes, I'm usually buying football shirts more than regular clothes, but anyway, I've never seen a Uniqlo football shirt. They're more famous for stuff like in tennis, but I'm fascinated by this design. The colour, of course, is very vibrant, very reminiscent of that almost 90s Dortmund shade, but I really like the look of the fabric as well. And Sweden wore this, and the women's team did quite well in it as well, most notably beating the US in the opening game of the Olympics. I really enjoyed the Olympics as well, as a bit of a side note. And I've got one of the Japan skateboarding items from Nike on its way. But anyway, going back to this. This is a design I'd love to own because of the Uniqlo connection, because of the bespoke design, and as a piece of memorabilia from the Olympics. So, a bit of a left field choice. I think these are still on sale. I need to check. But I probably do need to act fast, because I'd be surprised if they restock this, if Uniqlo restock this. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to pick up. And I love that shade. I'm a bit of a sucker for luminous yellow, luminous green kits, even though they're not necessarily the most wearable, but I'm quite keen to get this one. And that's number 8 on my wish list. Now, moving from the left field to something a lot more predictable, Inter's away shirt. And Inter, well, we could spend a lot of time talking about them, couldn't we? There's a lot of things to say about this. We probably do have to start with that sponsor. And unfortunately, regrettably, there's been a huge fall from grace. Pirelli, who graced Inter shirts for so many years, have of course gone. In their place, we've pretty much got the worst possible sponsor we could get. It is, without a doubt, one of the clumsiest sponsors I've seen. There are so many elements. It's very clumsy with the dollar sign, which kind of makes it read like Cinta. And Socios, or Socios, I don't know how you say their name. Again, having buysocios.com, to me, just doesn't look good at all. The brand have expanded rapidly, and if I could quickly show as well, of course, that Valencia shirt, which again had the similar kind of thing, the same brand, the same company, sponsoring a different club. Probably the only saving grace is the fact that the colour does incorporate with the rest of the shirt. But if we try and ignore that, which is quite hard to ignore, I'm really keen to get this one. I'd love to get the Scudetto patch, and I really like that Inter's crest is subliminal in the flag. Very nice touch. And this, of course, is a bit of a kind of reimagining of the 2011 away shirt, which is quite memorable with the snake. What I particularly like about this shirt is not only the wild and quite bold execution of the snake, but the way it loops around the swoosh. And I've got a close-up here. I really like that. It's quite unusual to see a design play around with the swoosh almost, or play around with any manufacturer's mark. I think that's quite nice. It's quite unique. And there's elements of the shirt which you could take or leave. Certainly it's quite simple in terms of the cuffs and collars, although I don't mind that given the busyness of the snake design. And the other thing to note with this shirt, which a number of people have commented on, is the fact that it doesn't seem to be available as a player issue. It's quite surprising, and certainly you'd expect a club like Inter, who have just won Serie A and they're one of the biggest clubs in Nike's portfolio, you'd expect them to have player issue shirts available, but they're not for whatever reason. I don't think this is going to be too bad to pick up as a replica. I don't think there's too much lost. And I'm actually probably going to look for the one with the sponsor, even though I don't like the sponsor, because Inter are likely to wear the sponsor, of course, in competitive fixtures. To me, that's a reason to get it. And to be honest, I've already got the Valencia shirt. Why not add another horrible sponsor to my collection? But very keen to get this one. It's quite high on my wish list. And yeah, I'm expecting this to be available quite late into the season, given the size of Inter and things like that. So I'm probably going to chance it and try and get that at the very end. I got Inter's home shirt last year as a player issue just a few months ago. That's one of my favourite shirts from last year. Very happy to pick that up. And I'd happily add the away to my collection as well. Moving on, we've got Atletico's upcoming third kit. And this hasn't been released yet, but I'm really looking forward to this one. It's quite a funny design, and a number of people made comments about it looking a bit like the Cat in the Hat and things like that. But it's the cuffs and the collar which really does it for me. And it reminds me a bit of those PSV shirts of the 90s which had a checkerboard collar. Really like this. I love that lighter blue shade. And Atletico have had a number of good kits, but this one really stands out to me. As I say, particularly for those cuffs and the collar. And I quite like the fact the shirt is quite plain otherwise. I think that's quite good. It's quite nice to see a shirt which kind of basically has the key design element on the cuffs and collar. You know, it could easily get a bit too busy if they had a design in the centre as well. But really keen to get this. And there'll be a shirt later on which is coming up, which is also a bit similar in terms of the approach. So there's a kind of mini theme of interesting cuffs and collars, which I'll be hoping to build into my collection. But this one hasn't been released yet, but I'll be keen to get this. And a bit like the Inter shirt we've just talked about, I'm hoping to get this later in the season. I don't think this one would need to be in player issue, like the Inter shirt again. But it would be quite nice. The more I look at this Dryfoot ADV spec, and this is just a blurry leaked picture, but even here, I do really like it. And I was so impressed with the Vaporknit shirts. I'm definitely going to have to pick up at least one Nike player issue shirt. But that's the leaked Atletico third shirt, which should be coming out soon. Speaking of leaked shirts, this is the upcoming Boca Juniors home shirt, or at least this is supposed to be the Boca Juniors home shirt. Quite a simple design, but it's all about the crest here. You've got that old crest which was used when Maradona was at Boca, and I love Boca Juniors shirts. It's a shame we got the Catarero sponsor. That doesn't add anything to the design, but that aside, I love this retro crest, and really one of the key themes we're seeing in 2021 is the retro crest. Teams like Fiorentina and Ajax are going right back to the old crest designs, and Adidas have brought this one back for Boca Juniors as well, and it looks amazing. I really love that. It's such a simple design, but that old Boca shirt which had this particular crest was one of my favourites. I'd love to get the new version. Again, this is a leak. It could change, but if the eventual shirt looks anything like this, it's going to be very high on my wish list. It's certainly one of my most anticipated shirts. I'm a big fan of Boca Juniors shirts, so this one is definitely going to be up there for me. Now moving on to a shirt which many of us enjoyed at the Euros, the Denmark third shirt. Now this one sold out, and unfortunately for me and many other collectors, when Denmark then wore it at the Euros, we were all scrambling to get one, but it had sold out. I'm hoping Hummel will re-release it. I've not heard any news on that front, but it is possible. It's very high on my wish list. If they were to release it, I'm going to be first in line to grab one. And I don't need to tell you too much about this design, do I? The pictures here tell the story. Denmark wore this in the first game back after Christian Eriksen's collapse. Of course, they would go on to make the semi-finals. They actually lost this game despite leading early on, thanks to Yusuf Poulsen, who scored against Belgium. And they fought valiantly in this game. But the fact that Denmark actually wore this shirt was huge for the value of the shirt. If they hadn't worn this shirt in competition, it wouldn't have been as valuable. But the fact they wore it, and wore it again against England in the semis, Even though they lost both those games, Denmark was certainly one of the teams in the tournament. And this is a great design from Hummel, an all-red design, a red-out design if you like, mimicking one of the best shirts of all time, the Denmark 86 shirt. I don't need to tell you anything about that. Anyone in those shirts knows that shirt. This is a really nice interpretation of it. It's not just a copy, but it is very reminiscent of that old Denmark shirt with a modern twist, with a red twist, an all-red twist. I love that. I love the execution. Certainly on pitch it looked great. And yeah, really, really nice shirt there. Expect to see more clubs and countries doing this sort of thing, doing one-coloured designs. It's going to be a very popular approach, undoubtedly. And yep, Denmark, one of the teams, really embracing the new and old, the fusing of new and old to great effect. We're down to the final three, and this is probably the most controversial pick on this list. I am a Liverpool fan, as many people know, so in that sense it might not be surprising, but many people are not looking forward to this shirt. I, on the other hand, am. And lots of people are joking that it is a bit of a McDonald's shirt, a sort of Ronald McDonald tribute shirt. But, guys, I really like it. And I like, as with the Atletico Madrid shirt, those cuffs and the collar. It's wild, the checkerboard design, the yellow and red, which Liverpool used with many good away shirts in the past. This one is certainly not for everyone, but for me, I'm quite keen to pick a Liverpool shirt this year. I haven't actually got a Nike Liverpool shirt. Last year's shirts, they were okay. I didn't mind them. Certainly the away was quite interesting with the teal. But broadly speaking, I wasn't too excited. But this one, despite how wild it is and despite how unpopular it will likely be with the general public, I'm quite keen to pick it up. If I could pick this up as well with the Atletico and Madrid shirt, that would be quite nice, I think, to have those two kind of checkerboard collar designs. And actually, it's quite funny. There's a bit of a run of yellow shirts, or a few yellow shirts, which are very high on this wish list. So it seems to be a bit of a theme for me personally anyway, yellow shirts, because we now come to Fiorentina. And I've got both the third shirt and the home shirt here. Maybe if we start with the home shirt. This one I'm very excited about. It is number 2 on my wish list because I love this shirt. Right back in episode 1 of Phil's Corner, we looked at Fiorentina shirts and I talked about this old crest design which Fiorentina used, and they've gone straight back to it. Capo have gone straight back, brought this back from the archives, and it looks so good there with the additional red details. And you can see here on the player issue version of the shirt, it looks so good. There's just the right amount of red there with the crest and the collar and cuffs. It's not just the crest though. I really like the horizontal band, and I really like simple horizontal bands of colour. Again, a classic thing I talk about in shirts, which I really like on a personal level. The sponsor is an offensive. It doesn't add or take away anything for me. It is at least in the right shade of purple. But I'm very keen on this one. And I've seen some people already getting it, and it's kind of made me think, do I pull the trigger now at full price? I like it that much. Hoping I'll be able to pick this up. Kappa, of course, are notorious for great sales later in the year. So hopefully I can pick it up later. But honestly, I think a month into the new season, I'm probably going to have to get it. I don't think I'll be able to have the patience because I do like this so much. I love Fiorentina shirts. And I'll mention the third shirt as well. This is kind of the LA Lakers tribute shirt in my mind. That yellow and purple colour scheme. A really interesting combo. It kind of looks a bit like a keeper kit. I believe it will be worn as a third shirt. Probably by keepers as well. Look at that, guys. Look at those colours. Very vibrant. Quite a unique shade. As I say, it reminds me very much of the Lakers in the NBA. Looking at that crest again. Just seeing that crest. And I talked about crest a bit on the Boca Juniors shirt previously. There's something about some of those retro crests which honestly cannot be beaten. And I really like seeing that return. It seems like quite an easy win. It is a bit of an easy win. But more clubs should do it because it looks great. When you've got a crest as good as that, why not bring it back? Just the elements here at play with the fleur-de-lis and the F there. Simple but beautiful. And it looks great on a modern shirt as it did on the old shirt. So that's the Fiorentina shirt. In at number 2. It's not number 1 because number 1 is this Brondby shirt. And this, again, is a yellow shirt, which is quite a funny addition. But I really like this. Not least because it's Hummel. But looking at those sleeves, and you can get it in long sleeve as well with the two-tone blue. One thing which many people did comment on when I shared this on Twitter was that the multiple yellows were quite jarring. And I believe that's been done not necessarily for aesthetics, but more because of one section being sublimated and one not being sublimated. But regardless, I really like this. And even though it is a kind of two-tone yellow, I don't mind that because you've got the two stripes on the sleeves there. But for me, this one is top of the crop for me. It's a bit of an unusual one to pick up. I don't believe they're available anywhere else apart from Brondby's site, possibly Hummel's store as well. And yeah, bit of an unusual choice, very much a personal choice there at number 1. But I'm quite keen to pick this one up. I don't actually have a Brondby shirt. I've looked and considered many shirts over the years. Certainly on eBay when I was starting, I was quite keen to pick one up. But this one to me ticks the box. Very simple but beautiful colour scheme. Blue and yellow shirts. If I had to pick one colour combo, actually, it probably would be blue and yellow. Certainly when Boca Juniors do it, it looks great with a predominantly blue shirt and yellow as a secondary colour, and the other way around when you've got a yellow shirt with blue details. So yeah, credit to you if you guessed this would be my number 1. I did share it on Twitter, so some of you might have expected it, but nonetheless, that is my number 1, and that wraps up my wish list. So we'll just do a quick recap now. We had Seattle Sounders there, their away shirt, Red Bull Leipzig's away shirt, Sweden's Olympic shirt, a bit of an unusual one there. Inter's away shirt, there's a bit of an away shirt theme, isn't there, actually, in this list. Atletico's third shirt, which hasn't quite been released, but that is coming up. Boca Juniors home shirt, we've got a good old home shirt there in the list. The Denmark third shirt, Liverpool's upcoming third shirt, Fiorentina's home and or third shirt, probably the home if I had to pick between the two, and Brondby's home shirt. So a good range of brands, and even though there's a bit of a yellow theme and a few mini themes like the checkerboards of the Liverpool and Atletico Madrid shirts, they are the shirts I'm looking out for. So guys, I'd love to know from you, what are the shirts you're picking up this year? What are those shirts you've got on your wish list? Maybe you've already picked up some from this year, and I'd love to hear in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're looking out for. Maybe what you agree or disagree with this list. I'm expecting many of you to disagree with some of the choices I've made. And if not, I'd be very surprised. But please do get involved in the comments. Let me know what you're looking out for. Let me know if you like this video. And as I said at the start, guys, even though I'm not going to be back at my corner for a little while, I will be doing some more videos. I will still be keen to bring you some videos because I don't want to leave the content too empty in the coming weeks. So yeah, that's my wish list, and that is episode 26. Once again, a huge thank you to Fanatics for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check them out at the link in the description, and using the code Phil's Corner you can get 8% off anything at Fanatics. And thank you to my patrons, and it's a huge thank you to all you guys again, because as I mentioned at the start, I'm going to be working with Hummel on a new football shirt show on YouTube, and it's all thanks in many ways to you and your support on here, on Twitter, wherever you've liked a post or liked a video. That's played a part in this new show which is coming up. So lots of stuff to come. But thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And share this video with your friends. Share this with people if you want to share some ideas for shirts to pick up for next year. But that's all for today. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon for episode 27.